Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and oh my God, have I got the guest lineup for you. As always, we'll start off with the most boring person on the podcast, as per usual. It is some musician. Yeah, it's myself, actually. I'll lie. Yeah, I'm the most boring person, but in all seriousness, everyone, please welcome the amazing Stags Yarrow. How's it going, Stags?
Whoa, it's going good, bro. It's going good. It's been a pretty chaotic and wild week this week. So of the episodes this season. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this one.
Yeah, and joining us as well, which, hot Survivor fan news. He has just declared war on the official Survivor AU page. Everyone, please welcome our hero, our representation of the amazing Meme Daddy. How's it going, Meme Daddy?
Hey, good to be here. Second time, looking forward to it. But I'm not a podcaster, just letting you know that.
Yeah.
I'm currently, like you said, at war with Survivor AU. They have not been sharing my memes, and they've instead been sharing their shitty versions of whatever their, 3-year-old kids are putting together. So, yeah, it's good to be here, and I look forward to not shitting on them too much, and then, getting stuck into this week's episode.
It's almost like we've got, your memes and then the memes from Timu, which is the Survivor AU page.
I would say your memes are probably the Timu ones. Their memes are...
No. Like, Michael's memes are like you said, ChatGPT. Make me a really, unlikable meme.
and then also put it up a few notches. It's like kind of like, like when you were in kindy and you come home with your macaroni art and your parents stick it on the fridge. That's them. That's the Survivor AU page memes. That's their quality. Even Useless puts better memes out than them.
Well, that's who I was just going to bring up. For the first time ever on our channel, we've got someone who actually makes really good content. Someone who makes really good memes, really great art. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Uselessaustraliansurvivorfacts. How's it going, bro?
How you going, guys? Yeah, just on memes, Daddy. My actual posts usually get around 50 to 70 likes, but when I post just screenshot memes, it's in the high 200s. So just keeping the audience a little bit interested in my page when I'm actually posting about voting histories and challenge beasts and all that sort of stuff. So just keeping up there with memes, Daddy. But yeah, it's good to be on podcast for the first time. And thanks for inviting me.
Of course, bro. Is this your first ever podcast you've ever done about Australian Survivor?
Yeah, it is. I actually because I actually talk to the memes guy. We have a little bit of a little bit of back and forth banter, whether it be a war or just a bit of back and forth chat. But I'm actually completely against podcasts. I think leave it to the experts on the radio, but everyone has a podcast these days. So I'm happy you guys have started one, and hopefully you guys succeed. And I'm happy to be a part of this journey for you guys.
Paraphrased, unsubscribe from Mucky Hope Productions.
Yeah, let's bring the show to the ground. But Useless, you're going to be a big part in what makes us super famous, though. I'll make sure that just like Sandra and Rob, we will build a statue out of you because we're now super famous.
Yeah, I'll look forward to it. Look forward to it.
And as Gabe says here, and now he's never been invited back. No, of course, you're always welcome on. But hey, Australian Survivor, guys. Brains versus Brawn 2, another phenomenal week of the show. And Useless, I'd love to hear what's been your thoughts on the overall season so far.
Well, as an overall season, I actually love fall newbie seasons. I feel like you get the gameplay is more erratic and you see more mistakes. And a lot of people don't like that kind of amateur gameplay, but that's what I find interesting. You see, in All Stars and Heroes vs Villains, the players were so well drilled on what was going on. You didn't really see much happen, or everything was pretty easily it almost seems scripted. So these seasons where you've got newbie players like in the pre-merge we had players like Kent and Nash who are
Yeah.
all guns blazing, even Max, and you're just like, well, if I was on Survivor, I wouldn't be doing this, but you just don't know when you
There's
until you get
always
out there.
drama to watch at every point of the game because they're like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and even Meme's favorite player, Logan, I feel like she gets a lot of hate in the comments because she's playing so emotional and whatever. But that's what's good to watch. Like as a fan, if they were robots, if they were playing all the perfect game, it would be terrible to watch. So seeing these massive blow ups at tribal council and then the aftermath of like even like Paulie getting hit with a torch and then he's getting hit with leaves and it's like the worst day of his life. I
Yeah.
I was sad that he was voted out because I kind of wanted to go down the Rodney route from Worlds Apart where he's like my Survivor
yeah.
birthday. Where's the other? I felt like that was Paulie. He was, and it's like, so really enjoying the season, but despite the gameplay being a bit iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I reckon the gameplay hasn't been up to the levels of like heroes versus villains or like an all-star season. But yeah, part of the enjoyment is you have a lot of these, I like to refer to them as like a landmine. So you've got like Indy, for example, who just blew up out of nowhere on, what was it, day 4 or day 5, whenever the vote was for her. And you've got a lot of these players who are like Max, for example, who's a super fan. He's probably overly eager and excited, and he's probably coming across too aggressive. He's not playing subtly, and he's not playing what we would consider smart as the armchair pros that we are. So I'm enjoying it also from a very drama perspective, and it's very entertaining just seeing like just crazy out there, over the top reactions, and on top of it, yeah, you do have a few like pretty good moves, but like Miles has pulled off a few over the top dramatic moves. But yeah, you've got a lot of these like people blowing up at each other, people having hissy fits, people ruining their own games, sinking their alliances, all that sort of stuff. Like that's also what I love about this sort of season.
Yeah, and I guess just while we're talking about, I guess, how much we're enjoying the season, I do want to quickly bring up, it's the only time I'll bring it up, but it's one massive negative like effect of the season, and it is all the hate and all the comments online. It's gone to the point where people have been extremely racist towards like Karen. People have been sending Logan like death threats, and who knows what kind of messages other members of the cast are getting. And we've seen this hate before with Pia, with Samantha, and I've no doubt this happened to many other players who just haven't been as vocal about it, which I assume that none of us four or anyone who's watching like this podcast is contributing to that hate.
Oh, except for me. No, kidding.
Yeah, except for Stags Yarrow. He's one of the most hateful people I know possible. But but it is just really messed up and just so wrong. And I'm glad that Logan is calling out literally every individual person that's commenting like so much hate. But Brendan, I'd love to get your take, because we have seen this reoccur over and over again. Is this more of like a casual fan like kind of thing, or what's?
Yeah, firstly, I agree with you 100%. Like, it's completely unacceptable to criticize someone or to make any sort of remarks based on race or gender or like whatever like sort of bigotry sort of remark you want to make. If you want to call out someone for their gameplay, if you want to say you hate them as a character, as long as you keep it to whatever you've seen on TV, I'll excuse that and forgive that. But you can never excuse or forgive like racist remarks that Karen was receiving. I think at the end of the day as well, it is like the filthy casual sort of audience. But also, let's face it, like if you're an obsessive reality TV fan, like I mean, to a degree we all are, you're probably not the smartest person in the world. You probably don't realize that these people are just regular people. I don't know. It's like when you're watching Game of Thrones, you can hate Joffrey, for example. You can hate Daenerys when she flips and destroys King's Landing. But those are characters in the TV show, not real people.
Spoilers, man. Go on. You spoil Survivor episodes. No, we're spoiling Game of
I
Thrones.
heard Game of Thrones ends really well. I'm trying to get to the end of it.
Oh, it was really good.
You'd be the only person who heard
Okay.
that.
But yeah, like so, when it comes to like a real person on a reality TV show, you can criticize what they say and what they do to a degree, but at the end of the day as well, it's a completely edited, cut down version of events put
Yeah.
together to fit a narrative. If you want to get fed up and you want to get angry at them, that's a reflection on you. Like, I don't think normal people get angry at like a TV screen the way these people have been getting angry, and then just throwing out like racist remarks. Like, it's just completely fucked. Like, it shouldn't be happening, and it's just it's shit.
Yeah. Well, Useless, you've been around in the Survivor community for quite a while. Like, what do you think, like, sparks all this hate and stuff? Is it just how the edit is over, like, dramatized, or do you think it is just people just going?
Well, actually,
Completely
it is
nuts.
quite funny because the whole reason I started my page, I probably didn't even start posting until the 4th season. But the whole reason I set up my system was because of Christy winning. So Christy won, and I didn't know what to make of it. I was like, how could she beat Lee? Like, she was like, every time we saw her, it was in a negative light. Then all of a sudden, she's coming out of her shell and she's really confident. And I think that's the hard thing. There's 24 players on a season. They're going to show glimpses of people. So at that stage, it was 55 days, and what we're seeing an hour or 2 hours a week
Yeah.
of these people. And then, that's why I ended up putting the facts list. I was trying to get rid of the edit as much as possible to find out who actually was the best player of the season. And to my surprise, it was Christy. So these people that are getting a lot of hate online, like for instance, Karen, obviously, really terrible that they've used her race as in a negative light, but she was trying to do something that she thought could get her the win. Like, if she
Yeah.
votes out Zara, she probably is at the bottom of the tribe. And even though Miles has played from the bottom, that's not her game. Her game is alliances. So people say, oh, she hasn't done anything all season. She's not an all-star caliber player. I actually had her as my winner's edit from the previous week. So going into
Yeah.
this week, I thought she was getting the edit to win. So that's why I was very surprised that people were coming out and saying, oh, she's this, she's that, or all that, when I thought she was probably in the best position to win the game. So
Yeah.
I think you'll always get these terrible, mindless comments because that's just what the internet is. And
Yeah.
I think Survivor US is the biggest example. Like Jeff, actually, like it makes the edit these days when Jeff calls out these changes and people say, oh, Survivor's woke. Well, it was 2000, a gay man won the show. The 4th
Yeah.
season, an African American won the show. A couple seasons later, it's Queen Sandra wins the show. Like, Survivor's always been as what modern people would call woke, but it's just when you put random people together, no one cares about race, gender, age, and that's
Yeah.
why Survivor's the greatest show on earth. We've seen everyone win, all the races, all the age and genders. So
Yeah.
I just think the comments online does not portray the Survivor community.
Yeah.
It's a small minority, and those are the comments that get blown up because that's just how the internet is, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we do have one comment here. Those people are really dumb. We can critique the gameplay. The personal attacks is dumb. It's just a TV show. I 100% agree. Like, I was a massive fan of Laura's gameplay throughout the season. I thought she played the merge week actually really, really well, despite, getting voted out then. But never would I say that she's like a terrible person. I hate her. I wish she never existed and stuff like that. It's just a game. And, you know, we're only seeing an hour of 36 hours of content most of the time. So she might have been out there playing the most amazing game, but that only showed the bits where she kind of started to, you know, not do so well, for example. But maybe for the other 35 hours, she was playing the best game Survivor's ever seen. I don't know. And Hamish, I know that you're not in the Survivor community as much, but is there anything you'd like to weigh on before we move on from this topic?
I think that there are people who are racist and wanting to say these things anyway, and they're looking for a reason to say them. And so as soon as somebody, for example, of color, does something which they disagree with, that's their excuse to say these things.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of on that warpath anyway. As for those people, there's obviously no place for them, not only in the Survivor community, but in general. And aside from that, I think it's worth mentioning to anyone who is doing some self-reflection, watching or listening to this, that there is a difference between critiquing an action somebody made and critiquing somebody's character, which you guys have already kind of illustrated.
Yeah. But hey, let's not be Debbie Downer about things. We've got Survivor AU to really talk about, guys. Let's bring it back to Brands versus Brawn. And Useless, I'd love to hear your opinion on the non-elimination twist this round. So essentially, the person who wins immunity, they get to pick someone to go with them to the bounty tribe, a glamorous tribe where they get given a nicely cooked breakfast and have a lovely day at the beach, basically. But the two people with the highest number of votes will get sent to the Barren tribe, where it's pretty much just a shithole, to be perfectly honest. There's no other way to describe it. And everyone else will draw rocks, which will decide which tribe they'll end up going. What's your thoughts on this twist?
So just because Australian Survivor always has these kind of twists, I no longer now see them as roadblocks in the game or whatever. Like, it is just a part of Australian Survivor, similar to a tribe swap or whatever. So expecting something like this, and I actually think this is one of the better ones that Australian Survivor has had. I'm glad that Kate got a bit of power, because I feel like sometimes in these non-elimination tribals, you put yourself out there as a challenge beast, you win the challenge, and you actually don't get a reward for being immune in a non-elimination episode. So I think winning immunity for Kate and then getting the power to save someone as well, I think that was a huge boost. I'm not a fan of the two highest vote getters on the bottom, because if this was a normal season where there was two clear alliances, it would be one person from each alliance going to the barren beach, where that doesn't really show the control of the game. And so sometimes I'm a little wary. I think there should be two separate votes. So you vote once, whoever has the highest votes, and then vote again. But again, we're used to it. Obviously, we saw Shawnee and Zach get tribe swapped because they had the two highest votes in All Stars. So it's not like it's the first time it's happened. And then the drawing rocks, I think I liked it only because of the follow-up episode with the 50-50 coin toss / auction. So then it kind of made it a whole theme of the week that you need luck in Survivor. And so in that aspect, I actually didn't mind the rock draw either. So from a twist standpoint, I think it's one of the better ones, much better than the Ernst twist from the original Brands vs. Brawn.
Way better than Ernst, way better than Redemption and Rock. But Meme Daddy, I know you love a good non-elimination. It's something you froth over every night. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this twist as well.
Yeah, firstly, one of my trigger words is Ernst twist. So please, guys, can we not say that word again? I agree with Useless. It was one of the better twists. And also, it did take me a few seasons to accept Australian Survivor will have these non-elimination episodes. I mean, again, as the armchair expert who doesn't understand production or doesn't understand budgeting or anything like that, I've got my ideas of how these twists should work. I'm always a fan of eliminating luck, so I didn't like the rock draw, just because it basically punished or rewarded people for dumb luck. Do I have a viable option? No, not really. I don't know what you would necessarily do, other than maybe some sort of schoolyard pick. But I mean, then it's like we have to kind of rewrite all the challenges, and basically instead of doing a rock draw tribal, you would have the tribes split into 2 temporary tribes and have them compete for the right to go to Barren Beach and Bouncy Beach, and then the losers go to Barren. I like the idea that the theme of the week was luck, but when it comes to Survivor, I've always thought I want to minimize luck, and I want to minimize. I want to maximize doing what you can from a social, strategic, physical, anything to kind of improve the chances. So I wasn't a fan of that part, but overall, yeah, I enjoyed just watching the dynamics evolve. I actually did enjoy the fact that half of them were immune after the challenge. Overall I did enjoy it. But yeah, definitely, again, like an armchair pro, there's tweaks that could be made, and hopefully one day there will be. I did slide into David Foster's inbox and then started giving him a piece of my mind of how I think they should go. But he's like, that's great. Your idea is shit, and I'm no longer in that role for next season, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Oh gosh. But Hamish, while it was just a non-elim, I guess not much impact was to be had on who went home, there was still a lot of very interesting strategy that played out. We saw that the tribe wanted to send the 2 people on the bottom, Logan and Paulie, to the Barren Beach, but Karen did want to send AJ to separate him from Kate and Morgan. Did you like this play from Karen?
Yeah, like there are so many different ways. Well, there are a few different ways, I guess you can look at it, right? Like how you want to do it. Like there's the idea of let's send the challenge beasts to Barren Island so that they are underfed, and that the people who struggle with challenges more are fed better. Like that's one way of like looking at how you want to strategize that. I definitely like the idea of putting AJ in a position where he's less likely to win immunity, so that he can be voted out. If that's her gameplay, and I guess she kind of was on that warpath slowly but surely. But obviously it didn't quite end up working out in the end how she was hoping it would.
Yeah. Well, useless, like Gabe brings up here, Karen saw the opportunity, but unfortunately didn't have the backing. I think AJ's just a massive Rizzler, bro. We see him talking to Kate. It's like, oh, you've got such beautiful eyes. You're just so amazing and beautiful. And he went from being a massive, pretty much social pariah where everyone hated him, to now being the most loved contestant on the show. Except by Karen, obviously. Like, how did AJ turn this around so quickly?
Well, it's actually really funny you say that. Again, I think it's highly because of the edit. The way the edit makes AJ talk, it seems like he's a bit like a Sheldon Cooper type. Like, he's only asking questions because he thinks it's a way to get a result of an alliance. So when he's talking to Kate, it seems like he's literally a robot going, "You are a girl. I am a boy. We should be friends." Like, that's what it sounds like. But it's clear that him and Kate connected, or he figured out what would, like, Kate's mid-20s. She's obviously a bit of a party girl. He's obviously gotten like what he thinks would feed her ego, and that's what has worked. And I actually find it really funny that because I've just got like the ages, the states, all that sort of stuff of all the contestants. The majority of the people in the game are in their mid to low 20s, and AJ's 35. I think he's using, it's like the opposite of the middle-aged mafia. He's kind of stroking the egos of these young 20-year-olds. And then the people, Zara and Kristen, who they're in their 40s, they're the ones that aren't really into AJ's tactics of Yeah. So
They
because
don't
it
have
seems
that
like
like older guy thing going on.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like he's just like blowing smoke up these even Miles. Like I feel like Miles is the youngest on the season, apart from Zen, who unfortunately was medevaced early.
Mm.
But he wants to make these big moves. He wants to be the big survivor player. AJ's mopping up his mess. Miles'
Mm.
own words. So Miles is running around like a toddler, throwing
Yeah.
toys around everywhere, and then AJ's cleaning it up, and then Miles is thinking that's like loyalty. So
Yeah.
AJ's just playing the people like he's playing the cards. So
Yeah.
it's like he might not have the best cards in the deck, but he's got the best cards with what he can do with them. So I was actually thinking coming into this game that he wouldn't be a good player because of that whole I'm going to use people as pieces kind of
Yeah.
attitude. But he's somehow been able to play this current cast. And one of the big ones is Kalen. I feel like no one's thinking about Kalen at the moment. And
Yeah.
AJ, I think, has realized this is the ace in my pocket is Kalen,
Yeah.
this young, dumb guy that everyone think is just on the island to crack coconuts and catch fish. So I
Yeah.
think he's just played it perfectly. The only thing is he going to get too cocky? A bit like George. I think he might get to the final four and people will be like, we've actually brought AJ because he's not good in challenges.
Yeah.
Um, but whether that's flipped, like AJ's actually good at challenges and he's hiding his challenge abilities because he wants
Yeah.
to get far as a social player,
Yeah.
that will be remain to be seen. But I think that's how he's got the power. He's just played each different person a different way. He's
Yeah.
not one certain way.
Yeah, I've
Well,
been pleasantly surprised with AJ. Like I used to play poker. I used to really like love poker, and every time I saw a poker player, I get so excited, and then I'd come crashing back down to earth when I realized just how bad of a player they were. Because yeah, being a good poker player doesn't necessarily mean like you would think it does, but it doesn't actually necessarily mean you have good people skills.
Yeah.
And AJ's really shown that he is actually good at reading people's emotions off the poker
Yeah.
table. I think you've also touched on a point, Useless, about like George. I think there's like a bit of George in Miles in the fact that he's like a bit like I don't know, Jungle Rat is like the equivalent of Macedonian
Mm.
Jesus. I think they both have a similar like sort of social play. Like they're social.
Yeah.
They lack a bit of social strength, whereas they're making these flashy moves. And then you've got AJ, who's a bit like George, because AJ seems to be the very strategic minded, like, all right, well, we can do this over the top idle play, but this is how we're going to have to execute the fallout. Or, and I think, yeah, like you said, he's cleaning up after Miles' mess. He's dealing with the fallout, and he seems to be dealing with it really well, except for Karen. I think he's been able to deal with kind of any fallback after a vote or a blindside or a lie or something.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's very interesting, Brendan, that you piped in massive support of AJ because he's been described as like a chat GPT bot. And I know that's how you source all your memes, just through chat GPT. Like, has AI gotten so strong to the point where AJ is just able to mastermind his whole way through the game?
I'm fairly certain that A in AJ stands for AI. Like it's,
Yeah.
And a J kind of almost looks like an I because like a lowercase J has like the dot on it, and it's just like a curly I when you think about it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm as a pro on ChatGPT, whenever you tell it to type in some text into a photo, it usually fucks it up. So AJ could be a misspelling of AI. So
yeah, that's right.
What is that? Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, yeah.
Intelligence.
See, this is why you're the funniest meme creator on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to write.
You're damn right. Yeah, artificial intelligence. Yeah, well, I guess just quickly like move on. So we do have two tribes that form. So we have got AJ, Kate, Morgan, Zara, and Karen on the Bounty tribe, And on the Baron tribe, we've got Miles, Kaylin, Paulie, Logan, and Kristen. And Useless, like this next episode, in my opinion, was the most funniest episode I've seen in a long time. Just a whole montage of Paulie, going through about how everyone has voted for him, and then it shows montage of every time his name's been written down, the tree smacking him in the face. Like everything was just so perfect about this episode.
Well, that's it. That's why I thought that this was actually going to be Paulie's redemption arc. I thought you see him getting hit in the face. You see literally a split screen of all the times he's been voted for. Like I haven't really seen that on any Survivor, let alone Australian Survivor. And then he's whinging he doesn't want to be here. All this sort of stuff. I thought it was going to be like the thing that clicked. Like I'm gonna win this thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of the way the challenge was set up, I always thought that the Bounty Tribe were going to win this one. I actually thought this could have been one of those ones where Kaylin gets blindsided, likable guy. There's only 5 people we can choose. Miles has an idol. Let's get Kaylin out. And his name didn't even get brought up. So that's just showing how well of a game he's playing. But then, so to see Paulie go after all of that had happened, I was a little disappointed, but I also think he ran his time on the show as well. So it wasn't sad that he was gone, but from a cinematic point of view, I thought maybe the editors were a little harsh on him. Like they probably didn't have to go so hard on him.
Yeah.
They just dogged the bro with that edit, bro. They were just like, everyone laugh at Paulie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hamish, we all know sometimes I'm a little bit slow, but I didn't quite click that both groups would be going to the same tribal council. I thought it'd be 2 separate groups of 5, and whichever one loses, it's just them 5 that goes to tribal council.
Right. Yeah.
And what's so interesting is that on the Baron tribe, we see like Kaylin, challenge beast, like really lovable guy, prime target to potentially get blindsided here. But everyone teams up with him. Even Miles is teaming up with him. But, the whole group consensus that they want to get Miles out. Did you like this play from everyone, I guess, on the Baron speech to all try flip things onto Miles here?
It was crazy, bro, because like they were all standing in this little circle being like, let's get out Miles, let's get out Miles. Miles walks over, he's like, oh, hey, what are we up to? And they're like, oh, we're just talking about last night. Do you want to go get us some water? Like, and he's like, okay. I'm like, bro, how are you not suspicious? There was such a weird moment. Like, it was one of those times I had to like remind myself this isn't scripted because that was like too dumb. But I agree with Useless that Kaylin has played a game which perhaps until recently in the edit was really like overlooked. I love the bit in the that challenge where he just boosts it to the end and does that puzzle where he's like to JLP like, oh hey, like don't tell them that I'm good at like puzzles, like pretend that I'm like struggling. Like he's putting a lot of thought into his game.
Yeah, well, Brendan, everyone's been saying for a long time that Kaylin's got the winner's edit. And I never quite believed it up until this week where everything about him has been so positive. And he keeps on voicing to us. He tells Miles and AJ the plans. They sprint off. They take the fallout out of everything. But he still get what he wants at the end of the day. Has Kaylin actually got a legitimately shot at winning?
No, I don't see that happening. And I think if it does happen, I'll probably be pretty pissed. He seems like a great guy. He's been pleasant on my screen, but I feel nothing. Like I don't necessarily care if he gets voted out. I don't necessarily hope he doesn't get voted. Like I just feel a bit underwhelmed with him. Why I think he's not going to win? There have been a couple and maybe this is me focusing only on these things about Kaylin because I don't like him or I don't care for him. There've been a couple instances like is that the tribal where Karen pulled them aside and Karen asked like, "Do you know about this other vote?" And he was like, "I've heard both sides." It's like, well, I don't know. To me, that's like very simple play. Like there was also another instance where I think he just blabbed about someone having an idol. I think it was Logan's idol, and it's like
Yeah.
it didn't seem like he was actually playing like a smart, ruthless game.
Yeah.
Maybe he's playing the very social game, and I just don't appreciate it. But I didn't see him winning. I also did see like a bit of like a meta sort of thought is that I think he's in Norway at the moment, and he's like, yep, I'm here doing whatever in the snow for the next 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, but the finale's in 2 weeks' time. Like, are you if you won, surely you'd be like having some sort of like viewing party or like there'd be some presentation. It's like, are you even going to watch the finale? Like if you're stuck in Norway in like the mountains. So I think that's me being more hopeful than anything and reading into it, but I just don't, I don't see Kalen winning.
I mean, useless. If you won $500,000 and you're in Norway, do you really need to watch the finale? You watch $500,000, you just got $500,000.
I don't think you get it until the episode airs.
Well, from what David Jennett has just said, it's 90 days after the finale airs, so that could just be the US one. But it's really funny you say that. Sorry about this kind of ignoring the question, but going back to if Kalen wins, I found it funny that Kristen and Kalen were having the conversation. Oh, imagine if us two made it to the end, and then they had like a little mock. Little mop truck, because I think that would be not good for like Survivor viewers. Like I think it would be the lowest rated finale, and it's not because I don't like I like them both, but it would be it was kind of like the heroes versus villains finale where the final three we were just like, who are you people? Like I was a huge advocate for Matt Sharp that whole season. I was like, look what he's doing, look, and everyone's just like, who are you talking about? Like, and I'm just like, well, these are the stats. This is his voting history. This is all the challenges he's won.
Yeah.
Like, if that was a final two, he probably gets edited as one of the better players. But it's a final three. It's all about Shonny. It's all about George. It's all about Simon. That whole season is kind of a bit of a write-off because of the end. And I feel like this season, I do think the winner has a huge impact on how people view the season. And if it's a final two of Kristen and Kalen, I think people will just forget about it and they'll be like, oh, remember that season that was in between Titans versus Rebels and Australia versus the world?
Yeah.
So as much as I like those two people, I do think you need someone like a Logan, a Miles, an AJ, one of these huge characters, even if they don't win, you need them at the end so people are actually watching. Because at the end of the day, this is a TV show, and people want to watch drama. They want to, as much as they can comment, oh, these are bad game players, whatever. No one wants to see 24 Kalens on a season. That you do want one or two. Like I'm the opposite of memes where I think like I want Kalen left in the game because he's kind of like your Monica. It's like the lovable character that once they're gone you miss them kind of thing when you don't really like notice. But so that's my thoughts on the whole Kalen kind of.
I'd be curious if Kalen's got much hate like the way some of the other players have, and I'd suspect probably not because he's had a very good edit, a very quiet edit. He doesn't actually seem to be doing anything other than like flexing his muscles and showing us a six-pack. Like, he's very
well, maybe that's why. Maybe that's also the reason he's in Norway is like obviously filming's a long time, all that sort of stuff. Get out, but he might not. He might want to get away from like not knowing what's going to come out from the show. Like he doesn't know how he's going to be portrayed. So he might. I know there's like actors and actresses they don't watch their own TV shows because they lived it. They don't need to watch it, kind of thing. And I even think Parvati said, like I might have seen that she doesn't watch her seasons of Survivor. She's like, I don't. I lived it. I don't want to watch it. So maybe that's another situation. Maybe he is in the finale and he's away in Norway to get away from any comments or whatever that might come his way.
Yeah. It's like if Michael was on a season of Survivor, I also would go to Norway and not watch it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it'll only be for that one episode, so don't worry, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd just start from episode 2. Start
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Throw a massive party and it's just your elimination episode.
I would
oh,
say
just
do
the
that.
sequence, just the tribal.
Yeah, no, what I would do is I would like secretly whisper, like I'd tell like Hamish to like, bro, like not gonna lie, I did so well this season. I'm not gonna tell you what I did, but I did so well. And I make a whole big fuss about it, gather everyone around to like the grand opening, and I'm just purple edit, voted out like candy. I get half a shot.
First challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Even like they edit in such a way that like, he just left the game. Like,
yeah, he just quit.
Like after you got voted out, they quickly did like a refilm, and they were like, "So Mucky's left the game under suspicious and then like weird, mysterious circumstances. You guys get the night off. Thank you. Goodbye."
We've actually
his name again.
player.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they could AI generate him like in like the tribal councils and like in the jungle. It's just one of the producers that they've just like stunt double edited him as a person with the little AI face. Just be like,
no, I wouldn't like that because then it looks like
never
Michael's
even-
in the game longer.
Exactly.
He actually makes it to the final 5, but he was
Yeah.
actually never invited onto the island. He's just a random producer with.
See,
with
that's
their
what
face
I
edited
like.
on.
Yeah.
I'm with you there,
Yeah,
bro.
it'll be one of those like those old ads they used to do, I guess, before CGI was invented, where I have like that old lady who's going to take like a basketball shot, but there's just LeBron James who randomly comes on to spin and slam dunk. It's like, wait a minute, like it was Michael here, but then I don't know, it was Brendan for the rest of the season. I can see that happening.
Actually, that's one
Original
thing
cast
that
where you get Brendan on.
I know Survivor's never really done, and every other show is done. But I wouldn't even mind like an intruders twist where halfway through the season someone just jumps onto the show and just goes, "Hey, I've been living on Exile Beach for the last 20 days, and now I'm entering the game."
That'd been so funny though. It's like, hey, I've been living on Exile Beach, but like your stomach is like really full. You still got like food crumbs on your face and stuff, and
Yeah, they just
They
they actually
join
just
on
like
the
put a bit
episode
of
that
like
we start
dirt
having
spray
like
on
the
you.
jury.
yeah. Sorry, what's that, Hamish?
They join the game on the episode that the jury gets created, so they're like confirmed jury.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
like-
much.
Kalen and his Vikings in Norway, like they just sail across to wherever it's being filmed. and it's
Yeah, on a
like,
long ship.
we'll just roll with this. So.
Yeah,
It's actually really
definitely.
funny because I've Megan Gale's liked a few of my posts when Sean was on the show, and I put her in like a mock blood versus water, and she did message me saying she was asked to come out, and she said she couldn't do the full days, like obviously has children and stuff. So maybe I would be mad if Megan Gale was just put on the show when the jury starts, so she would at least make the jury.
Yeah,
I mean that would get views up, right? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it'll be
Guy,
so.
message your producer friend. Get that on the card.
Yeah. Or maybe just have Megan be a part of the show, but whenever she needs to leave, she just, she tips over the water well. She, like destroys the fire, just hacks down the shelter, and just causes complete self-sabotage to get
and
it
then they're
voted
like,
out.
we're like, oh, Mucky did it with voting him out.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
just goes up to like a tree, just starts whacking like her like armor, her shin on it. She's just like, I need to be midi back.
Yeah. Anyways, we've gone way off topic from the episode, but Useless, the bounty tribe, they win immunity, and even all of them are like, we should start looking at taking out Miles. And it looks like it's going to be a unanimous vote on Miles, but he still has his idol, and he goes up to Paulie and Logan separately. He's like, hey, look, you're most likely the split. I'm playing my idol tonight. You should come with me to blindside Kristen here. But we see that Paulie and Logan, they heavily prioritize, self-preservation, and so don't go with the plan. Like, what's your thoughts on all the gameplay that's happening leading up
Well,
to Tribal?
first of all, the bounty tribe in this situation, the best part about this, American survivors seem to, it's only the 5 people that aren't immune can vote. So
Yeah.
that takes away the power of like winning immunity. So I think it's good that those 5 people that have immunity can still vote. So, from the point of view of those 5 people, voting for someone with an idol, there's no risk to them. So
Yeah.
putting all votes on Miles is like an easy option for them. They don't have to worry about getting a stray vote or whatever. So for them to have 5 votes and then let the other 5 people kind of battle it out for who goes,
Yeah.
because even like obviously Kate and Morgan are a pair, so they don't have to worry about someone being voted out. And Zara and Karen are a pair, and even though Karen wants Logan around, if Logan went, it wouldn't have been the end of the world.
Yeah.
So the only person to really lose out is AJ, who tells
Yeah.
Miles to play the idol. So I think it was smart by Miles to try and use his idol to pull off a huge move, and obviously that's
Yeah.
voting out Kristen. But it was quite clear that Logan was never on board with this plan.
Yeah.
Paulie, to be fair, I think Paulie must have checked out of the game because I don't know where he thought the votes were going on Logan. So I
Yeah.
think he must have mentally checked out by then, kind of hoping that Miles didn't play the idol rather than thinking, oh, like we can get Kristen out, like it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I think he was more like, it's either going to be Paulie or Miles. Like it's not going to be like the split vote's not going to really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think it was good by Kristen. Like obviously once she got a sniff of it to make Miles' correct idol play basically not useless, but I found it interesting the amount of like incorrect stray votes that have been going on this season.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, messing up someone's plan is just as effective as pulling off one of your own plans. So
Yeah.
I think that was basically a win for everyone on that vote, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Meme Daddy, like, it was so frustrating for me because I love Logan and I also love Paulie so much. Obviously, they're more of like a bigger character on the show than what Kristen is. So I was so frustrated that they weren't like, you know what? Let's try and make an impact together. Let's try and move forward together. But something I was thinking about is Miles' reputation so far in the game, where he's seen as untrustworthy. He'll just flip flop, play idols, where he sees fit, just make up his one as he goes. Do you think that because of his reputation, that played a huge factor into why Logan Paulie didn't even jump on the plane as well? Wait,
Your
hold on,
mic's
hold on.
muted, Mr. Daddy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So with that episode, Miles, for some reason, actually reminded me of our IT guy at work. And if he's watching this, which I doubt it, he's the worst. Like I'm at the point where I despise our IT guy. And there was something about the way Miles was talking to Logan. It reminded me of this guy, and I was like cringing. I'm like, oh, like why are you doing this? Like from an idol play, I was like, okay, he's basically strong arming and doing probably it's a correct way to play the idol in that moment. But in the long run, all he's really doing is he's showcasing to Logan, do as I say, otherwise well, I'm the dictator here, and I just didn't agree that it was a smart move to make. Also, no one talks to my Logan like that. If they do, there's going to be massive problems again. If he does that one more time, I've got the power of AI behind me, and it won't be pretty. So yeah, I thought that play in the moment, like it almost worked, and it could have potentially worked to get Kristen out if the way it had been set up in the sense like Paulie was kind of all over the place and checked out like Useless said. Logan was also kind of like distrustworthy of Miles from their history, but also now of Paulie, thinking he's erratic, I can't trust what he says. Kristen, I think having that social game up until then probably was the best option for Logan to go with. So it made complete sense to me that they turned on each other and just it became a battle of who could get more votes on Logan or Paulie. And then I guess as we'll probably see moving forward, Miles and Logan are probably not going to really work together unless there's like
Yeah.
some sort of necessity. Yeah.
Yeah. I do just want to really bring this up from Gabe. Mucky probably agrees with all the character stuff of Miles. Look, not everything, all right? I did like this idle strategy, though, of, I mean, look, you're already on the bottom. Obviously, with Paulie, he's been copying votes the entire merge so far, and he's been on the bottom all, like, during the swap phase. Logan's currently on the bottom. She was obviously very mad that she got votes to go to the Baron tribe as well. You might as well try and at least utilize the situation with the two people on the bottom by being like, I know the main target's me. You know that you're on the bottom and you most likely could get splitted on. Like, we might as well try and at least change some narrative, try to throw some votes somewhere else to maybe potentially save us both. But I do think his reputation and stuff, and as Brendan says, with like his IT guy, it's just cringe. It pisses everyone off. You know, it's just like every time when Hamish tells me something to do with MacPack, I just cringe. I get pissed off. And I just do something else.
Yeah.
But Useless. Paulie gets voted out. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on Paulie.
So the thing with Paulie is something must have happened on the new Brawn's tribe that we didn't see, because Paulie went from probably one of the better players in the game, one of the better, stronger players in the game, to all of a sudden snake oil salesman. And it wasn't really explained. Like, I think maybe it was hard for us because the things that him and Noonan were saying to the brains was what we've heard from AJ. Obviously, the brains haven't heard that from AJ. So they're all thinking they're lying. Like, Paulie's making this stuff up about what AJ's saying. So from an audience point of view, it was really hard because, like, Paulie lies, he's snake oil salesman. But to us, that's not what we see in Paulie at all. Obviously, the vote out where Noonan goes home, where he plays his idol, he still votes for Noonan. We obviously didn't see how much Kristen had turned to the OG brains at that point, because you would think that Paulie and Kristen could have made a move to like use their votes to get out one of the OG brains and get a little bit of power into the tribe. So I just think from then on, like, once the brains didn't trust him, the brains have had the numbers. He seemed a bit like Connor from 2016, where he just never recovered from that one bad tribal council, even though he played an idol correctly. He just never recovered. No one ever trusted him. No one wanted to play with him. The fact that Miles saved his life and was still like, oh, I can get rid of him at any point. Like, he's not like a ride or die. Like, it's just stuff like that. I just think Paulie's unfortunate. You could say he was swap screwed a little bit by going, like, if he remained with Jesse and Ben, whatever, he could have kind of ruled those like quieter, like, Brawns. But basically going to the brains, all his strategies were out on the table. He was in the minority. He kind of had to do what he had to do just to make merge. And then I mean, it's just credit that he actually made it to the jury, that he wasn't someone like Andy where he was the easy vote first up. Like, they got rid of a threat in Jesse who actually would have had a bit of power if he stayed in the game. So I mean, credit to Paulie for getting how far he went, but yeah, I mentioned it earlier, like, I think he checked out. I don't think he, and like, I could be completely wrong, but I genuinely think he was not having a good time. And I think he's kind of one of those people where he was on Survivor for the amazing experience that the game of Survivor is, and he wasn't having a good time. But yeah.
Yeah, we do see this comment here. He reminds me of Nick's situation season 1 very much. Yeah, 100%. And Hamish, something that I picked up on was I feel like the snake oil salesman sort of origin story all started from the Ursula vote, because we saw he's trying to rally the Brawn together to try to take out one of the brains. Obviously, Ursula doesn't want to work with Noonan. Noonan doesn't want to work with Ursula. They're both sort of ratting up the plan to everyone, which I believe Paulie was targeting Karen or something like that for that vote, which who's the one person from all those Brawn members that could have been strategic enough to try and pull them together? It's Paulie. And it's almost like a nickname almost, right? Like, oh, we don't want to, work with Hamish. He's the, what's it, like the shower drain here guy. Like his beard is just from a shower drain.
That's the
you don't
only
want to
reason
work
you
with
brought
him.
me into this, to say that.
Yeah, pretty much. I had that one line. It's like, I'm just going to go from here and see where it takes me. But yeah, do you reckon that title, I guess similar to Miles' gameplay, warrants his reputation moving forward?
To be honest, no. Like, I get when, for example, when Gabe says it's hard to shake people's perspective once it's that deep in the game. I understand, but I also disagree. I think it's hard to shake it depending on the kind of person you are. And I think part of it may also be an attitude thing. That might be unfair to say. But you think about Miles, the jungle rat, right? How is jungle rat any different? In fact, it may be worse than snake oil salesman, right? And Miles done way more erratic stuff than Paulie has on a number of occasions. Yet there are enough people who want to work with Miles, and to his benefit, to his advantage, he had idols, but so too did Paulie, or at least one. But Miles, his attitude is like, yeah, we're back on the bottom again, baby, and he's, for one, he's positive, and I like Paulie enough. And so I don't mean to be disrespectful, but obviously he does do a lot of whinging and a lot of like poor me kind of. But I think that the time that he spends being like, oh, like I'm so helpless, he creates this image. Whoops, sorry. Can you hear me? I think
you're
for a sec. He creates this image of others just see him being like, rather than, oh, this is somebody I want to work with, So not only does it mean that he can't necessarily think straight the whole time, and he's spending his time feeling sad about it rather than trying to strategize, what can I do? How can I thrive and make the most of this situation? I don't think it's the snake oil salesman title, which is his reputation. I think it's the way he handles those situations which creates that reputation. Otherwise, he'd be no different from Miles. Yeah.
Well, I guess just moving on from Paulie, Brendan, meme daddy, I've got a bone to pick with you. My girl Karen saved your girl Logan's ass. I'm sorry, I'm her biggest fan here. This M is shaped like a duck from a certain angle. You'd have to really look at it. But Karen saves Logan, right? Tells her to play her idol. Laura obviously said it gets taken out to that split. And what does Logan do? She brings up Karen's name at the spit roast meal that everyone has. And Logan's ready to flip on Karen. Why is this, Meme Daddy? Explain yourself.
Well, firstly, I was very proud of my girls when they worked together and then saved Logan from the bottom. At the expense of Laura, which, as we've now seen from the jury, we're all missing out. So, that's a positive that Laura got voted out. Sorry to go off topic. Is that we get here strutting every day into the jury, into the bubble. But I think that was when Karen saved Logan. I think it was obviously a very strategic ploy. It basically flushed out Logan's idol, and it made Logan dependent on Karen, which I think Logan was then smart enough to pick up and be like, hang on a sec, she's not saving me for any other reason other than for her benefit, not for Logan's benefit, not because they're like BFFs or I think she clued on pretty quickly that Karen has done this for her, for Karen's benefit. And I think she's also then realized, hang on, everyone, like I didn't see anything about people like, maybe there was one or two whispers about suspecting Karen, but she was not the target. Like she wasn't thought of, oh, she obviously helped Logan, so let's get her out. I think it was then Logan realized the threat level of Karen, and that's why she started throwing her name up. Yeah. I think from a strategic point of view, it made a lot of sense. It also that's kind of what I thought would happen, or what I would think I would potentially do if I was in that situation, because I would be Logan. I'm on the bottom. The majority have just voted for me. I'm at Karen's whim. I'm still at the bottom though. So if I throw Karen under the bus, at least that saves me for another tribal. So it gives me another opportunity to kind of work my way up the ladder. So as much as I hated seeing Karen go, and it broke my heart, and it was just awful to watch your two daughters fighting like that. I think it was a masterclass by Logan, and I think it was a great move overall for most people to get rid of Karen at that point.
Yeah, because we do see from Gay, which I 100% agree with. Logan is still in self-preservation mode. She's still trying to climb out of the hole. Took anything to say 1 day longer. Well, speaking of, surviving one more day, useless. Miles, he's on the bottom. He's walking around, and no one's talking to him. No one wants to include him in any plans because he's just going to do what Miles does better than Ricky. Everything. It turns out his massive thing he's got is actually the same, kind of the same thing that AJ wants to do, but it's just a different target. Do you think AJ should have included Miles in all this plan?
First of all, I think the biggest thing with these new player seasons is, and the biggest theme of this season is, everyone wants moves to happen, but they don't want to get their own hands dirty. AJ, it was, go back to the Rich vote, for instance. Rich had a sniff that nothing was going to happen when AJ was like, I'm down for the plan, but I'm not going to vote Logan, kind of thing. So I think with AJ not telling Miles, this was the first real, this is going to be my move. Miles is not going to be able to, if we get to the Farm Tribal Council, Miles is not going to be able to use this. And he also mentioned that, obviously being in the graduates, that Miles was probably closer to Karen. The fact that he wanted to even flip on Zara was probably a little bit of a surprise to AJ, but I could see this episode. This was kind of when Eileen was trying to work with Kelly. That kind of AJ was like rolling his eyes, like, "Oh my god, just stay still for 2 seconds." Like nothing's going on. Just vote Kate like it's normal. And like I think like Miles is the classic. He is the jungle rat. Like he likes to play at the bottom. He wants to be making moves every vote. Like he can't just be quiet for a minute. Like he has to be doing something. And I mean, I like that gameplay. It's anxious to watch as like when you think it's a safe vote and then all of a sudden your favorite's name is just pulled out of a hat from Miles, the most randomest name possible. But I do think you've got to make moves without your number ones or your. So if you do get to the end, you can be like, this is the move I made. This is the move I made that wasn't involving. So I think AJ did the right thing. And that's why I found it very interesting that Logan said to the jury that that was her move, because obviously AJ still kind of kept himself clean in this vote because Logan's claimed it, which I thought was interesting because, again, I thought that was Kaylin's move. But again, if Logan wants to claim it, she can.
Yeah. Well, actually, I would love to ask you, do you know how many votes Miles has received this whole season?
So I actually do have those stats just on me.
Just casually, just writing it all down.
Just casually.
In case of like at the pub or whatever, and someone brings up, well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
So I actually brought it up because someone was saying, "Oh, he must have the records amount of votes." So he's actually received 20 votes. So his name's been written down 20 times, but he's cancelled out 9 of them with his 2 idle plays on himself. So that leaves him with 11 credible votes. Paulie, he received 25 votes. Obviously, half of those were voided due to his own idle play and Miles' idle play, but he's received 12 votes. So obviously Miles is still in the game, so he can still receive more votes, but he'll have to do something spectacular to beat Geordie Hanson's record in Blood vs. Water, where he received 21 votes. And this isn't counting re-votes or whatever, but he received so many votes because he was voted out to Redemption Rock or whatever they were calling it back then. And then obviously he was copping votes because he was the number one target forever, and then he finally gets voted out. So that's the reason he's got so many votes. So Miles has quite a way to go to beat Geordie's record, but
To be
it just
fair,
seems like
though,
he's been
just you
voted out.
wait. When Michael's on Australian Survivor, he's gonna smash these guys out of the water.
Exactly.
Well, actually, I think I should. I haven't done this one, so it just might take me maybe next time I'm on the podcast. But I feel like Miles has received votes at more tribal councils than everyone else. He seems to get a lot of 1 or 2 votes at tribals rather than the big 6, 7, 8s that some people sometimes get. So that might be my next fact that I bring. That might be my Friday fun fact.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
I would also love to see, like, I guess just from the top of your head, or if you've also just got it down on like a note in your pocket, but like who has received the most votes in like Survivor history?
So, because I only do the stat taking on the Australian version, I ended up going back and rewatching all the American ones just to do my point system. But on the Australian one, I would assume it's Shawnee because Shawnee's literally been to the most tribal councils of anyone. So most votes received from largest to smallest. Yeah, Shawnee. Shawnee's received 28 credible votes. So she's obviously played a few idols, so they don't count those. And obviously it doesn't count the re-votes. So 28, I mean, that's over 3 seasons. So Geordie's received 25 in his 2 seasons, and Moana Hope has received 24, which might be a little bit of a surprise. But they're the 3 highest at this stage.
Yeah, that's so interesting because Shawnee was also voted out like 3 times in All Stars as well. So
yeah, Shawnee, because Shawnee was that like All Stars, but obviously because they had like Lee obviously leaving the way he did, and I think there was a lot of non-elimination, or like for some reason they had 2 different fire-making twists in that season. I think it was obviously because they wanted people to stay around longer. They did like you're getting the like not sure what they get paid per season to come back, but Shawnee said that she's not coming back for free. So they probably want to get a bit more content out of these players. But yeah, she did get voted out 3 times on All Stars, which she received I think 19 credible votes. So
oh my gosh.
yeah, it was 18 votes she received. So because obviously some of those tribals were like split where she only received like 3 votes but was sent to the Exile Beach. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it is quite interesting. Obviously, the whole point of not having your name written down. I know someone else was doing my job the other day when they said that Nina and Sandra both hold the records in their respective countries of how many days before receiving a vote. So they got onto me before that one. But Australian Survivor, due to a couple of injuries and quits and stuff, there's actually a lot of players that still are yet to receive a vote. So Lee Castledyne's probably the one. He received 1 vote, but it came on his, I think it would have been the 52nd day. And then obviously he played 30 days of All Stars without receiving a vote before his unfortunate exit. So he played another 33 days. So he's played like 88 days for one vote, but also only 1 jury vote as well. So
True.
sometimes avoiding the vote doesn't always mean.
Yeah. Well, Brendan, I guess, slowly getting back on track. We almost have like a Squid Game standoff here. And as a Squid Game fan yourself, did you like that Karen tried to pull the recruiter when, Kristen tells her that her name is out there, she wants to play Russian roulette, between herself and Miles. Where it's like, if they play an idol, votes are coming on me anyways. But if they don't, then we get out a huge threat in the game. Did you like this play from Karen?
Yeah, I did. I don't think the edit actually showed the entire truth of what actually happened, because it kind of just made it look like Karen spiraled and then kind of let off a grenade in her own face, basically.
Yeah.
What I think actually probably happened was she came up with this idea, and there was a bit of pushback. And that was an example of what I said, how Kalen was just kind of like on the fence. He's like, oh yeah, I've heard both sides of the votes, and it's like, well, then you're not really committed. And I reckon in that chat that she had, in that when she pulled everyone aside, I think she probably wasn't convincing them. And I think she had originally thought to go with Kristen's plan to vote out Zara and flip the vote like that. But then I think she wanted to save Zara. So I think she just wanted her cake and eat it too, sort of thing, like that sort of scenario. So as like a strategic sort of play, the best play is, okay, take Kristen's idea, and just blindside your bestie or your ride or die, and give yourself another day in the game. Whereas what she did was risky. It would have set her up in a better position if she pulled it off. But so I guess in hindsight, it wasn't a great move, because she got voted out. But I think there were two sides of the strategy, but I think the edit just made it look like a complete meltdown, and kind of fit the narrative that she got voted out. And it makes it look like it's because she had a meltdown, which might have been part of it. But I think it was quite a much more interesting vote than I think what was actually displayed.
Yeah, well, Hamish, I do agree with Brendan, where I think a lot of it, or a lot of the tribal must have been cut out, because we go from Karen, she's want to do this whole Russian roulette game, she's all in on this plan, but yet she still votes for Zara, just to see what happens. But I think that was the last-ditch effort of, maybe she realizes not everyone is in on the plan, so you might as well just throw a vote and just see, if she can save herself. But, did you think it was a good play by Karen to try and spin things around, or do you reckon she should have just stayed quiet?
Like our daddy suggested, if it did work out, it would have been good. She would have been in a good position, and I think that for two reasons. One, because it was a matter of principle for her, and people can see damn, if you go for her homies, you're about to get the bull, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to go for her homies. And so in a sense, she almost has that umbrella of safety that she can offer to the people she's aligned with. And then also a part of her plan was to attack the reputation of other people by giving away the secrets, when she was saying stuff like, oh, AJ said that Kate and Morgan are just shields and stuff. And if Kate and Morgan heard that and they were like, oh, what? As per what she was hoping, right? Then, it would have taken others down a notch at the same time as elevating herself. And, I like it as somebody who, perhaps not in the context of Survivor, but, I see a lot of value in being very kind of, a bit of a martyr when it comes to, your mates or, the people who are important. And so the fact that, she acted on that kind of as a matter of principle, I like that, but obviously she saw it wasn't going good, that people weren't buying into it. And, when she was trying to explain during that tribal why she did that, you heard her use that past tense language, oh, this was my idea, or this could have been a good plan. And so she, before the votes were even cast, she had already registered, okay, now this isn't going to plan. She'd already given up on it. And then so she was like, well, you know what? I did my best. Now, because I'm not going to be able to change anybody's vote, I might as well just do the self-preservation thing now. I did what I could. Obviously, she ended up copying all the votes in the end.
Yeah. Well, just as something that I was heavily reminded of in watching this is almost like the Russell move he did when he took out Tyson on the villains tribal, where, if he plays the idol on Parvati, but Tyson still votes for Russell goes home on the revote and he's seen as an idiot. However, since he managed for Tyson to flip his vote and you play the odd on Parvadil's right, Tyson goes out, and that's able to flip Jerry over because she's like, well, Russell will literally fall on this, fall on the sword for his allies. Like, do you think if Karen was able to pull this off, then she's at least got something grounded to at least last a few more tribals?
Well, I think that's the fine line between the stupidest move and the greatest move is if it works. Just for instance, if Eric, like obviously the way it's edited, as an audience, we know if Eric gives up immunity, he's the dumbest player in the world. But if Eric gives up immunity, he survives that. He has a way to the end. He could end up winning that season. But because he does get voted out, he's seen as dumb. It's the same thing as if Tyson doesn't vote Parvati, and then Russell gets voted out in the revote. Russell probably doesn't play for a third time, and he's probably just kind of forgotten about player. It works. He becomes the biggest villain of the game. He ends up coming out to an Australian Survivor where his plan of not using an idol because he just needs to get through this first tribal, it doesn't pan off, and now he's forgotten about now. So it's so funny because if that comes off, Karen's the leader of a 5 alliance with 8 people in the game. She kind of guarantees her spot to the final 5. Then all of a sudden you've got Kalen, who probably goes if he doesn't win immunity at 4. All of a sudden, like she has Zara, so she's at least into fire making. So if she pulls off that one move, the rest of the game is sort of sorted for her. And unfortunately, it doesn't pay off. I hope she's considered as a returning player because, especially like a second chance season, I think she's, because of the way she finished. Like, as she said, like I don't think she blew up her game. She was going home anyway, that tribal, if she just sat there. The only thing she could have done was vote out Zara, but all that does is Zara's gone. She's a single. Even if she makes it 3 or 4 more tribals down, like what's her end game kind of thing. So obviously these contestants, they're out there for 24 hours. The challenges go for, we've seen like maybe an hour and a half. There's a lot of time to be thinking. So I'm guessing Karen thought every single scenario through and thought, this is my only way to get to the end. Like the old Marvel Doctor Strange, like I've looked at a million scenarios. Tony Stark has to die for us to win. Karen was thinking,
spoilers, I haven't watched any Marvel movies.
Oh my gosh, useless. We've had Game of Thrones and now Endgame spoiled. Come on.
I mean,
it's like in
there's no real spoilers. I think they have different scenarios depending which movies you've seen. So
it's like in the Big Liz show when they realize that Big Liz has to take the nuke in the face to save, the rest of the world and whatever. If you guys have seen the Big Liz show.
I've seen the memes, but I haven't actually watched it.
Damn, you should watch it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be my Wednesday night viewing now that Deal or No Deal Island is over. Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess
that's for spoilers. When I was out with Johnny Fairplay and Logan and a few of them, I was actually planning. Sorry?
Okay, person from Melbourne where people actually live. Okay.
Yeah.
Where the important people are. So, just out of nowhere, like we're out drinking at a bar, like, and he just goes, "Hey, have you guys seen Deal or No Deal Island?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I might watch it after the season. I might binge it." He goes, "Oh yeah, Dave won, and I think he won like $8 million Australian dollars." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. I guess I don't need to watch it now." So,
Actually, honestly, I do strongly recommend it. I'm like watching it through at the moment. I'm on episode 5 or 6 or something. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great fun. It gives me hope that potentially new era Survivor casts can be it can be a lot of fun again. But let's quickly have a look at the remaining castaways though. So we've got, as I loaded up, so we say goodbye to Paulie, which our original prediction was he was pre-merge. But I'm glad he lasted for as long as he did because he was so entertaining and was a really big player throughout the season. And we unfortunately say goodbye to Karen, which I promised her that if she ever got voted out, I would wear some overalls with a duck on it. But not only did I lie to her, but I lied to myself too. So unfortunately, Karen.
And you lied to me as well. I was wanting to see that.
And I lied to Hamish. And I guess now I've lied to you both. I've lied to Gabe and anyone watching the podcast. I'm truly, truly sorry.
Hold on, I'm unsubscribing.
Yeah, unsubscribe right now, everyone. I'm a liar. But anyways, so we've got Zara, Logan, Kristen, Kate, and Kaylin, as well as AJ, Morgan, and Miles left in the game. I still feel strongly about Miles potentially winning. I've lost all hopes with Morgan now at this point. I feel like if anyone's going to win between the Morgan, Kate duo, it's Kate. Yeah, what's your thoughts on our ranking Useless? As like who's in your eyes who you reckon is going to take out the whole season?
I'm on 1%, so if I cut out randomly, it's not because I don't like you guys or your tiers. It's I've thought my phone would last longer than this, but it is pretty similar to what I had, although a lot of your pre-mergers I had as post-mergers. I actually had AJ as an early boot, and obviously I had Zara as an early boot, which she's done much better than we've all expected. I also I picked Morgan with my number 1 pick in the fantasy draft, which I thought she would win some challenges, which she's letting me down here. But I don't think that's a bad tier list. I think Logan is like, we want her to be the winner that Shawnee should be. But I don't think it's it's coming out as that, unfortunately. Just I don't think she'll have enough friends on the jury. So I really don't know how this season's gonna end now that Karen's gone. I feel like it's almost a Russian roulette, like put a bullet in or just aim at one contestant and they could be the winner. I can't see, obviously the way Morgan's been edited, you would say she can't win. Similar with Kristen and Kaylin. But I'm hoping Kate wins. Kate was she's like my pick that I want her to win before the season starts, but you're just like, is she going to be boring? But she's been getting the confessionals since merge, so that's like a slight sign. But
Oh no, he cut out. He's gone, guys. No, poor Useless. No.
He was holding the entire podcast today.
He really was, and I will just remove him so that we to save it from that face. But I did just want to say it really quick, Useless. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, bro. You're an absolute legend. I've been a fan of your page for many years now. A lot of times I don't understand your rankings or like your point system sometimes, but I just love seeing them. Love seeing all your useless facts. So thank you so much, brother, for coming on.
You'll always be remembered.
Yes. You will always be remembered as useless.
But Meme Daddy, what's your take on our tier list? Is there anyone who we're kind of sleeping on?
So Morgan, I mean, I just can't see anything. And again, going a bit meta, like what we heard about like the Ben situation, and I just can't see her actually winning. I feel like they're probably just trying to like keep her quiet or keep her out of the spotlight for whatever reason. Miles, I agree with. I had Miles and Karen as my final pick for the last few weeks. Logan, my favorite. She would have to be one of the contenders as well at the moment. I feel that even though she's on the bottom, unlike Karen, who like we discussed earlier, who would probably have not done well if she was just the next vote after Zara, I think Logan is in a position where she can be a bit more dynamic and a bit more like she can probably flip and shift around a bit. So I would say Logan, Miles, AJ are probably the only real contenders. Zara was for a little bit, but she's just gone a bit quiet, and I feel like she's just fallen down the pecking order. Kristen, Kaylin, also, I just can't see them winning. Great social players, obviously, but just can't see them making to the end. And then Kate's, I feel like she's in the same boat. She's tied both with Morgan. I think once Morgan goes, I think Kate's next sort of thing. So
yeah, well, as Gabe says here, Kate needs to be a better version of Benji. Now. Hey, the Benji edit is here, Gabe. You know, was it Kristen, Benji edit, Kate, Benji edit, Kaylin? It's getting like the quieter version of a Benji edit, but everyone has a Benji edit. Everyone's going to win, Brendan. Hands down. Everyone's going to win. But just before I start going through some of the comments I did miss, Brendan, we had the return of the Survivor auction, and it had a twist, which I saw a lot of people were very unhappy about on the internet. But it was the you know,
a lot of angry people on the internet. No,
I know what? No, my gosh, I wonder if they were racist and sexist towards the auction.
That probably were bots. Like, I don't believe you for a second.
I wonder if they were angry about the gherkin that Paulie got.
Was it? Do you think it was like representative of anything, or it was a bit small? I thought, but anyway.
Yeah, it was representation of Hamish, but
He was the typical model for that episode.
Exactly. But I quite like this twist. You know, where you had a coin toss to see which item you want to see, but do you want to gamble and take another item? And we saw that a lot of hang on, I did sort of bring this up. The sex stuff 100% Tom. You'll be quite surprised, Gabe, that Tom is he's not that sexist. He just doesn't like Logan. He thinks Kristen is useless. Who else is left in the game? I don't know his thoughts on Kate.
You're just going to read through all the female characters, right? No, this is genuine stuff he's told me. He's not sexist, okay? He's not sexist. But he thinks of nothing of Kate and Morgan, thinks Kristen's useless, thinks he doesn't like Logan. Not sure about his thoughts on Zara, but he's not sexist. Okay? He's not. No sexist. Tom isn't sexist for anyone watching. He I can't defend the bro, but it's check history with this.
Tom no longer exists in the podcast world, but he's still like brought up. He's this legend. Would you say he's the Sue's big move of podcasts?
He is the Sue's big move. I mean, it's so funny. Like myself and V were massive fans of Lee in Survivor UK, and his whole thing was voting up the woman, and somehow Tom got all the hate for. For liking Lee was actually very nice. So he was playing a good game, and it's just always stuck with him and just stayed with him all throughout Australian Survivor. But Brendan, we've seen many auctions, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this auction twist.
Yeah, so I used to be one of those angry people who would go like boomer level, like outrage if something.
Sending the death threats.
Yeah, I'd be the one sending death threats to the Survivor page and telling them how bad the twist was. But this twist, my mindset on twists has actually changed quite a bit. I've now grown to appreciate when we see a Survivor staple like the auction and it gets changed up from season to season, or every couple of seasons they change it to a completely different format. And that way you can't break the game. Like, you can't do some strategic move to take advantage of the auction, or like, are you going to get an advantage? Are you going to get letters from home? Are you going to get a phone call? Like, who knows? Like, when they change it up like the way they have this week or this season, it's just refreshing. So while it obviously wasn't an auction in the sense you bid and the winner got to eat something and the loser got nothing, I liked it that to me the auction is a bit of a reward, bit of like an easy day for the contestants. And I liked how it was a different twist. It was everyone was fair sort of footing. Everyone is in the same position. I mean, arguably, we don't know what the food was under each one. So potentially they could have been setting up players to fail. Like if someone guessed heads or tails wrong, I mean, maybe there would be ways to foolproof it. But who knows that there wasn't, say, coconut under both sides. So, I mean, maybe that's just getting a bit more conspiracy theory and tinfoil hat theories. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a good twist.
Hamish, what is one item on an auction that would make you lose your marbles?
That's a good question that I didn't expect to get hit by. I think that, like,
it's just like a track.
Like, what? Oh,
It's just like been hit by a truck. Yeah.
yeah. No, I
never
think
expect
that I, like food's always nice, you know, but like I'm not the kind of dude who like puts way too much thought into it. Like if the
Yeah.
food's yum, that's mean, but I also don't mind just eating something as long as it like fuels me, right? And I obviously they've been on this island for a long time, but I think I would prefer the more meaningful ones, be that letters, be that a cool home, be that, you know, not a gherkin. But also like
A bowl of rice.
I think that I would kind of just get what I'm given. Like if I was in Paulie's shoes, like yeah, I would have been probably for a split second like, damn, I could have had a cool home. Why did I go for the food? But also after that, I'd probably just be like, actually, that's kind of crack up, and just see the humor in it.
Yeah.
You know, because it is kind of a funny situation, and how you react to that is kind of like you can kind of choose what your attitude to what it is. You know.
What about if it was my stir fry with a whole dessert spoon of cayenne pepper, or my dishwashing soaked rice?
See, at least your the meal you made, which was like beyond regular spicy levels, at least that was like edible. But the time that you put dishwashing liquid in the rice, you know, I'm not out here trying to vomit, so I'd have to pick the prior.
I mean, Brendan, it's all just about adding flavor.
Sorry?
It's all just about adding flavor.
You know those memes that it's like white people don't have flavor in their foods. It's like, yeah, we do. Dishwashing liquid.
How about you, Brendan? What'd you go completely coconuts for?
I think I don't know how to put up comments. I don't know if I have that admin privilege, but Gabe's comment,
No.
I would be, as much as I know that would like, I would be feeling like shit afterwards. Like if I had something with cheese, I would be cheese and carbs basically would make my day. I mean, I do love curry, not like butter chicken, like actual curry. But
what's wrong with butter chicken? Butter chicken's like curry.
No,
it's a real curry that you can have at Christmas, okay?
It's the same way as saying cucumber water is spicy. Like it's I don't know. Yeah, if it's me, curry or pizza would be the two things that I would probably like sell my soul at that point if I'm not hungry.
Fair enough. Can you guys take a guess? Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. You both know me pretty well by this point. What do you guys?
Chalky milk.
Yeah. I'd actually murder JLP or whoever takes the chocolate milk. It's actually a dream of mine.
Like your big three of things you'd want to do would be like have a chalky milk would be one. Have the opportunity to lecture the rest of the cast about why Bigfoot is real would be your other one. And your third one would be the opportunity to have like a free pass of like not being funny. That would be your third one. Any of those three, you would just like you couldn't fathom it.
Yeah. What's a dessert for Mucky? No, it's not a dessert. It's a lifestyle, Gabe. All right, let me just tell you the intricacies of chocolate milk, because with the dessert, it's like you think of like a cake, a mousse, like a pudding or something like that. You eat it, you consume it. It's like, wow, that was sweet. But chocolate milk is just like water. You know, like you drink it, this satisfies you. Brendan,
why are you keeping us hostage like this, Michael?
Look, it's all about being satisfied. Okay, if you want to be satisfied, subscribe to the podcast. Hang on, let me find it.
Because there is some cheeky, exclusive, naughty content.
Some cheeky, exclusive content. If you want to be satisfied with my content, you better subscribe. Right now.
Michael will satiate you.
Imagine Mucky gets a bathtub.
Okay, or like someone like could have like Kate, how like she gets the advantage. It's like, oh, you get one of what everyone else orders, and it's like she has to have a bath with you as well.
you know that challenge in Traders where like they make you each person do something that's real hard, like bathing cockroaches or like an ice bath or whatever it is. Like that would be somebody's thing. They just have to watch Michael have a bath.
I don't know if I need
a bath, but it's not water, it's chalky milk, and he's just slurping his own bath water.
Little sponge and like squeezing it on. Oh,
Oh my god. Holy fuck. Okay, I don't know. I don't know how to move on from this. But I guess subscribe subscribe now. Wait, hang on. There's some things I did wanna quickly bring up. The Gabe mentioned I forgot to go back to. What is about the current move, you don't know what happens the next day. Build something against AJ next time. My only issue with that is AJ is so solidified with Morgan and Kate. It's and obviously like Kaylin's really solidified with him. There's really half the tribe just really going right there. I guess she doesn't know that Kaylin was so much with him, like at this point. But
hot take,
yeah.
and it's working for his game, but AJ's a simp.
He's a simp. He's a rizzler, just like Brendan with all his memes. He's rizzling and simping his way to the Survivor.
Why isn't it working
Survivor
for you
thing.
then, Michael, being a simp?
Look, shut up, Hamish. But one final comment here. It's crazy season. Started with women in power. Logan's only possible winner candidate. I mean, I could see Kate maybe potentially winning. It's like a left field kind of winner. But yeah, I'd say that Logan and Kate are probably the top two female winners left, I guess, in terms of eject and stuff. I guess just before we officially go, Brendan, who's your official winner pick for the tail end of the season?
At the moment, it's I think it's like spinning a roulette wheel, or any wheel, I guess. But I'm gonna go with Miles at this point.
Miles, how about you, Hamish?
I was trying to work this out before, man, when we had the tier list up. Like, I think that Miles goes soon, followed by Zara and Kristen. I think that Morgan goes out, and then Kaylin uses that as an opportunity to actually, like, make a big move finally and turn on AJ. And I basically am saying that I think Kate's going to win.
Kate's going to win? Awesome. I mean, I think Logan's got this. I really do. I reckon she can somehow just keep on scrapping from the bottom. We've got teased that there's a rock draw, which, don't tease me with a good time
She's doing a
like
good
that.
job at staying on the bottom, to her credit, and she's also doing a good job, not just of like surviving on the bottom, but like making sure she keeps being on the bottom. But I guess it means that she knows how to survive it, right?
Yeah. I'm Kaylin, believe it or not.
You're wrong.
Get out.
Wait, you're actually Kaylin. Imagine if Gabe is Kaylin this entire time. Maybe Gabe's the one in Norway.
What is the time, Gabe?
Yeah, what is time, Gabe? Suspicious. No, but I agree. Kaylin would be like a Fabio kind of winner. I guess just sort of a random winner. But that does bring us to the end of our podcast. Meme Daddy, I mean, you're already super famous. Everyone knows where to find you. But please share with us. Where can people find you?
Well, if I'm not cancelled by the Survivor main page, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Australian Survivor Memes. I'm the one that posts good memes, not the shit ones you see around. So come follow and join in on the banter.
Yeah, and Hamish, speaking of shit memes and I guess shit things in general, where can people find your shit?
Mucky Productions.
No, but is there anything that you'd like to plug?
Absolutely. This thing right here, Stags Yarrow. This is my career. This is my life. I'm a musician. Wow, that's crazy. Check out Stags Yarrow. If you're like, wow, I don't care about this guy's music. I just care about his lifestyle. I also have a YouTube channel. It's called Hamdog. It's probably going to be hard to find it because it's got like it's got like 70 subscribers. But if you just search Hamdog, I do dumb vlog stuff. Michael's in some of the videos. Otherwise, Stags Yarrow. This is the priority.
Yeah, even the behind the scenes, if anyone saw it, of my Jesse tribute with a recorder, Hamish has uploaded onto the Hamdog channel. So make sure you do go and check that out. I'm your host, Mucky Hope. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know down below who you think is going to win. But until next time, I'm your host, Mucky Hope. Ka kite anō, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.